I'd like to call the Board of Adjustment for March 13th, 2025 to order for the City of O'Fallon. And Ethan, are you going to do the roll call? Can we have roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Chairperson Patton?
Present.
Vice Chairperson Newsom?
She's excused.
Board Member Robin?
Excused.
Board Member Thomas?
Excused.
Board Member Graham?
Present.
Alternate Board Member Hartzell?
Present.
Alternate Board Member Reins?
Present.
Alternate Board Member Wilkinson?
Present.
Okay, and with the 3 members that are out, every one of us will be voting tonight, and it will take 4 positive votes in order to get any agenda item passed, okay? I'd like to welcome Mr. Mark to our Board of Adjustment, his first meeting, and we have some of the others that are back that it's been a while since we've been here, so I want to welcome everybody back tonight, okay? Next, if everybody could please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Next, we have the staff oath. Everybody on the staff could raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the information you're going to provide to us tonight is the truth? Okay, thank you. Next, we have the approval of the agenda. Do we have any corrections? If not, we call the question to approve the agenda.
Voting is closed.
Okay, the agenda has been passed. Next, we have the approval of the board, of the minutes for the Board of Adjustment for November 13th. That's been a while since we've had a meeting. So does the board approve the minutes? Ask the board to cast your votes.
Voting is closed.
Okay, that has been approved. Next, we go to old business. Seeing none, we'll go to new business. First item on the agenda, number 1 is 25-00070, 1630 Kenmar Court is the address. INC Environmental Recycling LLC is the property owner. Spencer, you're up, please. What would you like to tell us about this?
Good evening, everyone. So the applicant is requesting a variance to allow a gravel parking area. There is a reclaimed landfill in the area, and while staff was unable to locate a map showing the exact boundaries of the landfill, based on historic aerials, it is possible that this property was part of that landfill. Due to the potential buildup of methane gas, there are oftentimes pavement limitations on such properties. Kenmar Court and many of the surrounding access roads, driveways, and parking areas are also constructed of gravel, and it is a privately maintained road. Based on the criteria listed at the bottom of the staff report, staff is recommending approval.
Okay. Is there any questions for Spencer? No? Okay, you did a good job. Is there anybody here to speak for this agenda item tonight?
Good
Please,
evening.
let me swear you in. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the information you're going to provide to us tonight is the truth?
Yes.
Okay, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Mike Hackmeister, Cochran Engineering, 8 East Main Street, Wentzville, Missouri.
Okay, thank you. And what was it? I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Mike Hackmeister.
Okay, Mike. Okay, what would you like to tell us?
Not much, really. I think Spencer covered a lot of it. Just Kenmar Court is also gravel, and then I think a lot of the adjacent properties also have gravel lots, so my client would like to also use gravel for truck turning areas.
Okay, all right. Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else to speak for this agenda item tonight? Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the information you're going to provide to us tonight is the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dienoff,
city public advocate, also running for the city council.
Okay, I just want to let everybody aware, everybody has 3 minutes to speak tonight, okay? Except the applicants, okay? Please proceed.
Okay, thank you. In terms of this neighborhood in this application, there's been applications that have come up in the past. There needs to be some type of finality here and some type of capital improvements in this neighborhood. In the past, there's been hazardous waste that has been seen in this neighborhood. There's been, that has come to the surface, green type substance. There needs to be roadway improvements that are needed on Kenmore Court. There is a former car junkyard, which is partially in the city of O'Fallon and partially in unincorporated St. Charles County. There's just on the, in the circle or in the court is a yard waste business. I believe they store yard waste. Section 400.510, subsection A, subsection 2 of the code is written there for a reason. And that reason is to provide improvements to the community and to the neighborhood. This applicant has an obligation to our community to improve that site, to clean up that site environmentally, and to bring it up to compliance with the codified code. Is this application for a savings cost, or is it truly for the environment? This is the first that I've ever heard of methane gas coming up in this neighborhood. I'm gonna have to make some phone calls and reach out to the legislative liaison with the Missouri Department of Natural Resources and also the Environmental Protection Agency at the federal level to see exactly what the methane gas is, because that's very concerning and puts up a lot of red flags and needs some investigation and to be looked into. For those reasons, I have to oppose this application. I feel that the applicant shall pave the lot in compliance with section 400.510, subsection A, subsection 2, and they have a duty to our community to improve that property. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Is there anybody else to speak for this? If not, any other questions or discussion? If not, I'll call the question. And please vote.
Voting is closed.
Okay, you have been approved. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is item number 2, which is 23-010967. Address is 310 Capri Drive. Veronica Leifers, I think, did I say that right? Property owner. Okay, Spencer, your turn again. You did such a good job. Let's do it again.
All right. So the details on this case should look kind of similar to several that the board considered last year. It's kind of like the old expression, same person, different font, although I suppose in this case it might be same zoning code contested, different shed. The applicant is requesting to allow an existing shed to encroach the rear yard setback. A building permit showing the structure at least 6 foot from the side property line was approved in September of 2023. The applicant failed to have the structure inspected in a timely manner, resulting in an expiring permit letter being sent to the address. And upon inspection, it was determined that the structure was not built per the approved plans. While the applicant did not provide documentation stating exactly how far the shed is from the property line, it does appear from the photographs that it is approximately 2 to 3 feet from the property line. And there is ample room on the property to construct the shed within the allowances of the code, and staff is recommending denial. It's also worth noting, though, that the applicant did contract out the permitting and building and inspection process to a third-party company, and I do believe she has been having some difficulty getting back in contact with them. She might be able to provide more of an update on that tonight, though.
Okay. Okay. Any questions for Spencer? Yes.
Spencer, in looking at, it's not part of the information that the staff provided, but the applicant, I noticed an aerial photograph where I see lot lines on the rear lot lines of her property and adjacent properties, and it appears, going through some of the city information, that the properties behind that lot line are also owned by the applicant?
Yes, they're owned by the same person. It's essentially the same lot. It's not exactly sure how that happened throughout that neighborhood, but the rear portion does appear to be technically a separate lot. Yes.
And is the structure on that lot?
Yeah, it would be on the rear lot.
It is on the rear lot, and the encroachment, is it to the applicant's forward property, or is it to the side property?
It's the side yard that is closest, closer to the neighbor. I believe that's the north side, if I remember correctly.
Thank you. That helps quite a bit. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Spencer while he's here? No? Okay. Thank you, Spencer. And the applicant, did you want to say anything? Please come up and, very good, you know what to do. Okay. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the information you're going to provide to us tonight is the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Veronica Liefers. My address is 310 Capri Drive.
Okay. What would you like to tell us, Veronica?
So I got this shed contracted out through Tough Shed, through Home Depot, and the person that set up all the construction, he was also the person in charge of the permitting. So the documents that Spencer had spoke of, I had never seen any of those because they went to Jason at the Tough Shed. So had I seen those documents, I would have scheduled someone to come out and to make sure that it was properly installed. I don't know anything about construction or zoning, but this shed is on a second parcel of land that is non-residential. It's a wooded area, and I'm not really sure why it couldn't be back there because it's not included in the residential space.
Well, it's because too close to the side building lot.
Okay. And if you do go back through my neighborhood, almost every single person that lives on that street has a shed that encroaches on sidelines. It's not a newer subdivision with HOAs or strict guidelines, so I would like that to be taken into consideration as well.
Okay.
It's a huge shed, so it would be a significant cost to move it because we had to put in a huge retaining wall because there's a natural water line that drains down into that area. So it was a big deal to have the people come in and add gravel and add the retaining wall to place the shed on top.
Okay. Okay, is there any other questions? Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No,
Okay.
sir.
Is there any other questions for the, okay.
Is the fence that we see in the photos the fence that separates your property from the neighbor's property?
Yes.
And are there any concerns from your knowledge of that the neighbors have with the shed being so close to the property?
No, she's right here. She's going to speak as well.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. Okay, is there any other questions? If not, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And then Catherine Cradle, did you? Cratley, okay. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the information you're going to provide to us tonight is the truth?
I do.
Okay. What would you like to tell us?
That it's a nice-looking shed, and it's not an eyesore, and I don't understand why they have this variance anyway. And to clear up that strip of land, we bought our house in 1970. We're next door on the shed side. That strip of land was originally owned by Omer Dames. Dale Sudi bought that whole strip, lot behind his house, all the way to the property on the other side, and offered for sale. We paid $500, whether it was little bitty or huge, for that property behind us. And
Okay.
it was not part of the city lot when we bought our house. And
Okay.
we get separate personal property taxes,
For both pieces of property?
both pieces.
Okay.
And the shed is nice looking, and I don't see why there'd be any objection to it at all.
Well, I have one question on your form you filled out. You put on there that you oppose this shed.
No, I don't oppose the shed. I oppose I'm all for the shed. I
Okay,
oppose
okay.
the questioning
That was-
of it.
okay,
I'm sorry.
Okay. Any other questions for the neighbor?
Just for my understanding, are you then on 312?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you. And Mr. Dienoff, did you have anything you wanted to say?
Yes.
You're still sworn in, so go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dienoff, City Public Advocate. This is a unique situation. I was originally opposed to it. Now I'm kind of like in the middle of the road. I see both pros and cons on this issue. Again, the code is there for a reason. When the application or the permit was sought after, it showed the appropriate setbacks, which would be 6 foot on either side and 10 foot in the rear. Staff's recommendation is denial. I have to support staff in their recommendation because they have to enforce this in the future across the city. And if we start opening up the door, then we're going to open up our door to a Pandora's box. Now that the property is owned by the same property owner, the setback comes into issue here, but it's a problem for future sales of the property. And it sounds like Lowe's is responsible and accountable. I'd recommend that the applicant go to the local store and try to reach out to somebody there. They should come over and rectify and make the situation right according to what they're supposed to do in the contract and per our city permit that was issued by the building department. This may have an adverse effect on adjoining property owners in the future and sales of the property, and I would ask the board take that into consideration. If somebody does buy this property, I really believe in setbacks. It gives a distinct jurisdiction or level between property lines, and it could affect somebody in the future. You have to realize that and look at that issue. It's a tough situation. I'll leave it up to the board to decide and vote by taking in all the information and facts. But in this area, it's a tough one, but the staff did recommend denial, and we have to enforce it citywide. So thank you very much.
Okay. Any discussion from the, yes, sir.
Am I able to recall or ask the applicant to speak again?
Yes.
Would you mind?
Oh, that's fine.
I just had a quick question for you. In part of the documents you submitted, there's an overhead diagram that shows your home and then the proposed location of the shed. And the shed ended up on the adjacent property,
So,
which I recognize as your property, but it moved significantly from the original diagram. Can you help us understand how or why?
so I think the reasoning behind that was Jason from Tough Shed, who did the permit. I don't think he was aware that there were two parcels, but the original location of where the shed is located now is actually where the plan was, where it was supposed to go. So I don't know if that was just a misunderstanding from his understanding of where the property lines were. I guess he didn't know they were two separate parcels. Yeah. And I'm not sure why the shed didn't go that close to the side yard, if that's what was in the permit. I think maybe it could have been like a leveling issue from the slope of the land and the retaining wall that they had to build.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other discussion or questions from the board? If not, we'll call a question. Pardon?
Did I say one more thing?
Well, we've already voted.
Voting is closed.
No, it has failed, okay? So you have to get with city and find out what your next steps, okay? Okay, thank you.
It's been denied, the variance.
Pardon me?
You're saying it's been denied?
Yes, okay. Okay, thank you. Is there any other discussion? If not, we're set to adjourn.